Welcome, everyone. You are listening to Lights,
Camera
Convo. I'm one of your hosts, Walid Chaya.
I'm Kavita Raj.
I'm an actor, director, and writer, and also the founder of Studio for Performing Arts LA, acting school available online and in Los Angeles. And I'm here with my bestie, Kavita.
Hey, guys. I'm Kavita Raj, founder of Mischief Entertainment, an independent record label, and mom to music artists Ria Raj and Lara Raj, and famously known as Walid Chaya's bestie.
What's up,
here
bestie?
on Lights, Camera Convo.
And we're here with one of my other besties. I have a bestie-filled episode today.
This is a bestie
I'm
episode.
surrounded by love.
Yes.
Please, a warm welcome to casting director and producer extraordinaire, creative heart of gold, amazing human, lover of actors, of talent, of the craft, Ani Avetyan.
Hi, Ani.
Oh my, thank you. Hi, you guys.
You deserve it, honey.
I am
It's
so
true.
excited to be with you guys.
We are so
I've
excited
been
to have
following
you.
guys, and I am so happy you're doing this.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Thank
I
you.
love you
Yes.
both very much.
Thank you
We
so
love
much.
you,
We love
Ani.
you. And very, very proud of all the amazing things you're doing in the
Yes.
industry.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Yeah.
Together, we do it together.
Together, absolutely.
Tell us just
Together.
a sneak peek. I know we're going to dive in during today's episode, but give us a sneak peek. What have you been up to?
Let's not talk about the industry for a second.
Okay.
I've been kind
Yeah.
of trying to live life.
Okay, talk
great.
to
You
us
know,
about
it's,
that.
I
it's,
love
it's
that.
a new year. It's a new year, new hopes, new dreams, a lot more energy this year, a lot more happening. Unfortunately, the world is still going crazy, but a lot more
Yes.
happening in the industry. We're kind of waking up after the strike
Yes,
and going
absolutely.
forward strong. So I am kind of living my life, trying to read more, trying to listen to music more, trying to smile more.
Yeah.
So
Reminds me to
that's that.
smile. You're being a human, Ani. You're
Yeah.
being the artist yourself.
As in the famous words of Kourtney Kardashian, she's just living her life.
Yes, live your life, sis. Ani, I love that because, what better time than the new year to really take that beat?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kavita and I have our podcast, Lights, Camera, Conversation, which is the 2023 edition that you can all stream under Lights, Camera, Conversation. Right. And in the Lights, Camera, Conversation series, you'll find over 25 episodes. One of the latest was which talks about New Year's resolutions and really starting off your new year with that correct pause. That's what you made me think of, Ani. So I
Yes.
wanted to share it in case anyone else wants that pause. It's so important, especially for artists, to really collect themselves so they can bring their best art forward. Is that something that you agree with and that you teach in your philosophy?
Oh, absolutely. But before I get to that, I want to really congratulate you guys for what you guys are doing.
you.
This is a step towards something even bigger, and it's a brick at a time. You put your bricks together, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I have a big building. So you guys are on your way to make a really big building. My grandma always said one hand cannot clap on its own. It doesn't make sound. And if you put two hands together, it makes the most beautiful sound, which is a strong clap. And you guys together, you put your hands together and you guys are clapping together, and this is a big congratulations to you guys for doing this for all of us, for the artists out there, for people who want to start with a brick at a time to build a building. So
Thank
that's
you.
first.
Thank you so much.
Ani.
Spoken
We
like
love
a
you.
true
Congratulations.
casting.
Cheers to that. We
Cheers
have our
to that.
drinks here.
Yes.
I'm
We
gonna
have
get
our
my
drinks
I'm
here.
gonna get my wine.
Cheers.
Yes,
You go. Cheers.
If you're
Spoken-
listening, we hope you're grabbing your drink of choice
Yeah.
and tuning in with us over a beverage.
Yes, spoken
There
like a
you
true
go.
casting director, because I think in that role you see, talent in people and you nurture it. So we feel very nurtured and,
Yes.
appreciated today. Thank you.
Yes, and that's what we're going to discuss a lot more of today. Not just these big breaks that actors get, which we'll talk about,
Yeah.
but the up and up, right,
Oh my
Kavita?
God, that is our favorite passion topic to talk about is artists on the way up, right? That journey, the struggles, the yeses and the nos,
Yes.
the acceptances and the rejections.
Yes.
Yes. So, Ani, it sounds like you've been busy, nevertheless,
Mm-hmm.
between work and also trying to have a human moment. So, Kavita, how have you been, sis?
I've been good. Thank you so much. After, as you know, Super Bowl in February, after the NASCAR races that I attended in February, it's just been a beautiful month, kicking off March with a strong start, ready to roll out our next single release through our record label. The next music video is dropping, and preparation for that. So a lot of it is about reaching out to brands and so on and so forth.
Perfect.
Yes.
What have you been up
Perfect.
to, Walid?
Oh my goodness. Well, March is in full force, yeah? Getting ready for the premiere of Darn It Darla. I know I've mentioned that last week as well, but it's hyper-focused now as we get ready to get the final cut. It's called a final cut for a reason. And with that said, I'm going to tell you more about my project, about Ani's and yours.
Yes.
Ani, we are so excited to really dive into the nitty-gritty with someone so iconic in Hollywood with a heart of gold,
my.
too. You're iconic,
my.
not just because you've done some great work and have, a huge list of credits. That's not just about that, but they're really a testament of people loving to work with you and you being a fan favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's stay a little humble. I'm not that iconic.
But tell
I
us-
do want to be remembered for a good human being.
Oh, I love
that's what I'm
that.
saying.
And that's
It's because
first,
you're a good
obviously.
human being.
But kind of, going back a bit, tell us about how this whole journey started for you. Being in casting and being in, this industry. What brought you here? And tell us about the whole process. And
Absolutely.
Where it all began.
It's been a journey, I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
Yes.
absolutely.
Ever since I was 4, I can kind of remember my life because I'm 44 now. I'm like, I can remember my life since I was 4. At about 5, I started reading, very young age. And at about 6, I was reading Shakespeare already. So something was off about me. My parents knew I was an artistic child from a very young age. My friends and my sister, they were playing with Barbies. I was reading and writing poetry. We immigrated to the United States from Armenia. At the time, Armenia was part of Soviet USSR.
Okay.
We immigrated in 1988. And 3 days later, I wrote a poem that was published in the Armenian press with the help of my neighbor. And I became a little famous Armenian child in the Armenian industry here in the United States.
And that was in LA or?
That was in LA.
Okay.
LA. Later on, this is that child who's living a very magnificently different life than regular kids. Yes. So I was maybe 9 years old at the time, and we were driving by Warner Brothers. Now this is an immigrant child with a very old down, beat up Toyota Corolla. My father somehow collected money, and we had hard times, And when we came to the States, my grandma sent sugar with us, and my mom said, "Mama, why are you sending sugar with us?" She said, "Take it. It's for the poor man." And we're like, "What do you mean, poor man?" So when we came to the States, we rented an apartment with the money we had, but we didn't know there was a safety deposit.
Ooh.
So everything we had left, we put as a safety deposit. So we were left with no money.
Nothing.
So before going to welfare, obviously, for 3 days, my mom was putting this sugar that grandmama sent with us inside the water, and she was like, glucosamine.
Yeah.
And we were drinking this thinking we're Popeye the Sailor Man. Yeah.
Wow.
And it gave you character
My
later on
God,
when you think about this.
perspective.
Yeah. And a couple years later, with this Toyota Corolla, we're driving by Warner Brothers, and I look at my mom and my dad, but mostly my mom, and I tell her, "Mama, I'm gonna work here." And she looked at me with this immigrant smile, and she's like, "Yeah, you're gonna work there." I mean, there was so much pain in this immigrant smile,
Yeah.
And how did you know about Warner Brothers at
I
such
just
a
got
young age?
goosebumps.
Well, I was a smart kid. I was watching television. I was already watching Dr. Zhivago, at this
Wow.
time.
So it was a passion.
No, but I knew Warner Brothers was
course,
there, and we happened to be in the vicinity of Burbank. I mean, we lived in Glendale, but oh my God, it was a trip. We were in the vicinity of Burbank and passing by the gates. I'm like, this is where I'm gonna work.
Also, Warner Brothers did a lot of cartoons, right? In the 80s.
Yes.
If you did watch
Yes.
those, you'd
Yes.
know. Yeah.
So you said this is going to be where I'm going to work regarding Warner Brothers as a young kid.
As a young kid.
Okay.
And guys, this is what happened because manifestation, working hard, believing in yourself, not letting anything get in your way, constantly telling yourself, I'm going to stand up, my feet are strong, my knees are strong, I'm going to do this. It's that constant belief. I went to UNLV, I got my degree, and Warner Brothers.
Wow.
Here we go.
Wow. What did
Yeah.
you study at University of Vegas?
Film.
Film, okay.
Crazy,
Yes.
of course, film.
Something you
What else
loved.
I could have studied?
It's all
Film.
that reading and the writing, right? It's that creative energy since you were little.
I always say, big guy or whoever you believe created a lot of black and white, and then he was like, "Oh, kind of getting boring out here. Let's do some fuchsia." And so us artists are the fuchsia of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
We create stories. We entertain lives.
Yeah.
We get into people's homes and people's lives.
Yeah.
We change moods. We are the fuchsia of the world.
Inspire.
Yeah.
And,
Yes, we are the
re-energize.
fuchsia.
I love
love
it. We are
that.
the fuchsia.
We
Oh
are
my
the
God,
fuchsia.
The
love
fuchsia
it.
We
and
are
the
the
future.
fuchsia.
Before we get in too deep, I do
Love
want to
it.
share a little bit of your bio, Ani, because for our listeners that don't know you as well as me and Kavita, they're really in for a treat as we continue the conversation. A little bit of bragging here, but it's totally deserved, Ani. You're renowned for your 14-year tenure casting TNT's hit television series The Closer and its spin-off Major Crimes, among many TVs and
With
shows.
Bruce Newberg and Liz
Yes.
Dean, of course.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course, since, and that was a long stint. What an exciting amount of time to be working in this world of these characters, right?
Yes.
And then your journey as a first-generation Armenian American immigrant to become a prominent figure is inspirational. You've spanned multiple projects, not only casting, but also producing, from Hellcats, Primo, Leaving Barstow, and Homecoming, among others. So I'm just curious, Ani, as a kid, you always knew you wanted to cast. Is it what you thought it would be?
Yes and no. Yes, I knew I was getting into a very creative field. I understood this. But no, I didn't know we had to deal a lot with technical stuff behind it. I'm sorry, this is
Oh,
the boring
wow.
part of the
I'd
conversation.
love to hear this. I wanna
and
know.
like dealing a lot with tapes and because you first have to become
Yeah.
an intern and an assistant and then an associate and then into casting. And along that path, you go through your times where it's not so creative. You're dealing with let me download this tape, let me send it to producers, let me get the okay from WB, let this producer said no, this director is asking for this. So a lot of that technical stuff
Sure.
I did not think I was gonna get into, but it's okay. It comes with the field. It's okay when you see what you've done at the end, the end result. You're like, oh my God, we ended up putting this phenomenal actor on screen, and this is what we have as our as our little gift to ourselves.
Absolutely.
You're like, it's all worth it. It's okay. I can stay up all day long.
The mundane grunt side of the business, we often talk about that on our show, is a constant.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And that is the behind the scenes stuff that we all have to do. And without that, it's the other more forward experiences people see. They're not going to happen without all of the grunt
Absolutely.
business work in the back.
Many years when I was casting, and then I think it was our last season. I was coming down the stairs, and my executive producer was upstairs, and I could see him. I yelled up to him, James, this is James Duff, the genius. I said, James, I forgot to have a child. He's like, what? I'm like, I forgot to have a child. I literally forgot to have a child. It was 16 hours days, So, but this is dedication. This is what you do.
16-hour days putting together such a hit series.
Tell us about how, you came about to find your biggest casting project and how that journey began and, what led up to that point.
Absolutely. So when I graduated from UNLV, I moved back to Los Angeles, and for about 3 months, I was searching for the right job, and many people told me, so-and-so will introduce you to this casting director, and so-and-so will introduce you to that casting director. Nothing was happening. And so a friend of mine told me about the incredible Sam French, if you guys remember this fantastic bookstore that now is closed, unfortunately. So I went there, and I bought the casting director book, and I sat there, I opened the first page, and on the first page, I saw Lisa Beach, 323-468-6633. I dialed the number thinking I'm calling Lisa
Now
Beach.
we all have a number.
Thinking I'm calling Lisa Beach. And so someone picked up the phone and said, casting. I said, hello, I'm sorry. Do you want an intern? And they said, yes, be here 9 o'clock in the morning. I was like, okay.
Wow.
So the next morning, I get up all dressed up. You know, I'm going for my big interview for a casting office with Lisa Beach. I get there and I can see this Lisa is not coming out. Where is this Lisa? So they take me to a room and they're like, okay, the casting director will be here soon. And then I see Bruce Newberg, the man who changed my life in casting.
Wow.
Bruce Newberg comes in, and I am so nervous. I'm like, what happened? I was supposed to meet Lisa Beach, who's another phenomenal casting director who we were sharing offices with. And Bruce Newberg comes in, and I saw this Chekhov thing on his table. I'm like, great, I'll talk about Chekhov. Great, I'll break the ice, you know? And so we started talking for a minute or two, and Bruce was very, very busy. He was casting many projects at the time. So he's like, I'm sorry, you're overqualified. Thank you so much. We'll call you. And I was dying. I'm sitting there. I'm like dying. I'm like, what do you mean I'm overqualified? I haven't had a single job. Yeah. And so he took a minute to he was on the phone and I could see because we were on Larchmont, but for some reason the clouds, the trees, something was happening where I could see the Hollywood sign from our window. And I was like, I looked at the Hollywood sign and I'm like, in my brain, I was like, Bruce, I'm going to work with you. We are going to do this together. And he comes back in and I'm like, sir, all I want is just 2 hours a week. I will just be out of your hair 2 hours a week. He said, yes, 2 hours a week. The next day, I went to work 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day. Every single day. 6 months later, he gave me my first job, Warner Brothers, with John Lithgow, Jeffrey Tambor. I was his assistant on 20 Good Years.
Oh, wow.
And then one happy day for me. Everybody was like busy at the office and they told me, Ani, do you want the class or do you want the closer? Guys, the class, it was produced by the geniuses of Friends. And so obviously I had to choose the class. But the girls, they were working there longer than me and they had more power than me, you know. So they said, we're going to do the class. Okay, we'll give you the closer. And they gave me the closer. And this changed my life.
Wow. The closer.
Forever and ever and ever.
Major Crimes and 14 years of casting.
Forever and ever.
Just
it changed
that
my
world
life.
of characters.
Yeah.
That is such an incredible story.
Wow.
You know, I mean, like sometimes they call it the North Star leads you to the right thing, right? You're missing, you think you're like missing an opportunity, but it's just leading you to the next most amazing thing.
You guys,
and
I
the
don't want
closer is like
is everything. And I don't want to get too much into the psyche of everything and go into like, oh, we need to manifest every moment. But I'm telling you, I saw the Hollywood sign, and instead of me giving up in my head, and this is my story, but like I'm saying this for you guys, all the artists out there, like instead of me giving up and saying, no, it's okay, he's only wanting me to come in for 2 hours a week, I said, no, I'm going to work with you, and we're going to work together in my head. And so that's what I put out there.
But that
it's all about that energy.
The universe spoke to you through that moment, through that sign. So for everyone watching and listening, find your Hollywood sign.
Yes. Find your Hollywood sign.
She's giving us gems here. Find your fuchsia. Find your Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
This is just incredible.
It makes me think of a short, funny tangent story. Ani, I think I've told you this one. When I was looking for my first apartment in LA, having moved from New York, I was looking at the apartment I'm currently at, and I said, God, please give me a sign if this is where I should move into. Granted, standing at the parking spot because of the elevation, the Hollywood sign is directly ahead. Very far in the distance.
There you
it's
go.
super tiny. I looked straight out, and it said Hollywood, and I was like, boy, if there was a sign, that's the one.
That is the one.
it.
And Ani, you being my sister from another mister, the heart's there and on the same page.
Oh
and I
my
think
God.
that's so exciting. And that's been a constant with you, Ani, a constant in you checking in with yourself and your spirit and just making sure that you are persistent.
You guys, and to all artists out there, you know, some of you might like my voice, some of you might not, some of you might like my hair, some of you might not, some of you might think my
I love your
story
hair.
is weird, you know, like, but we are all the same. We
Yeah.
all have the same struggles. We all have the same dreams. We all want to get there. And so let's stick together. Let's support each other. Let's smile at each other. Let's hold each other's hands. And this is the way we are going to change anything. United front is everything for an artist. The more united you are with your peers, you get to put projects like this together.
Oh my God, preach!
Yes, and you know what's more fun than working with your friends?
I love.
Yes.
Or those you love.
Yes.
It's such a treat and it's such a privilege, I think.
Yeah. No, this is so inspiring coming from someone who has seen the struggles of not only your own journey, but the struggles of the artists you work with, right?
Yes.
So if you can, just share with us some of the, challenges that you encountered as you were, unfolding in this journey, and some of the things that you saw your artists encounter. And, clearly I can sense the message that you're giving them, which is very positive and inspirational and to keep going. But how did you do that for yourself?
You know, I think we all have our own struggles. Some of us hide behind our struggles. Some of us are more open about our struggles.
Absolutely.
But an artist's life, just like every family, it's a veil, and then you open the curtains, and then all the monsters are behind it, living this life. So we all have our dark moments. We all have our good times. But I've seen, being a very creative person, or I like to think I'm a creative person, being an artist and loving artists, the hardest part of my job and what I've seen is some of the most incredible, talented human beings walk into the room, and you could see them struggle, and you could see them not getting the part or getting in their head, and this being they start to lack in their self-trust, self-confidence, self-esteem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This kind of shut my life out of me. And for years I went through this. In the early parts of my casting, I was so personally dedicated to every single actor who was auditioning, and the genius Bruce Newberg, alongside with my incredible producers, Mike Robin, Greer Shepard, Rick Wallace, and the creator, James Duff. They always told me, Ani, take a step back, relax, enjoy. Let this be a learning process, because I would invest so much in an actor being so right for the role, and then ended up not getting it because of he didn't fit the family, or the description didn't really fit. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you
but
did. And we want to learn a little bit
did.
more
No, 100%,
about
yeah.
what it takes in the room and how you step back.
When you're in that casting room, when you are the casting director and one of your artists may or may not get the role, how you feel in that moment and how personally invested you seem to have gotten into each one of your clients. How did you work around that? How did you realize that this is an enduring, long-term career? You're in it for the long haul.
No matter how much I say it doesn't get on my nerves, or I don't want to get personal about it, of course it's personal. Again, I'm going to keep on going back to this word. We are artists. I feel you. You feel me. We are both creators here, So for someone being in the room and not having self-confidence is the biggest thing I want to talk about. Because I feel like, when they say you win the room, and winning the room is not coming in and having like a chit chat. No, it's about your energy, winning the room, having self-confidence, because self-confidence goes back to the early parts of humanity. Like if we think about a date, you go on a date and you're relaxed, you're more eased into it. You're like, oh my God, I forgot to wash my hair tonight. Like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You just you let go, and it's more attractive that way than when you think about your hair not being washed. Yes. So this is something thing I pay attention to make sure my artists outside of the room, and I call my actors artists, yeah. Once you're clicked, your headshot is clicked and they bring you in, this casting director believes in you. This casting director believes that you're one of many who's gonna come in the room and is gonna change the way the producers and directors think, yeah? And so my first thing is outside of the room, I love to make them feel comfortable so they can get into a headspace where they are safe, they are good. They are being taken care of. This is the most important thing. And guys, I always talk about this. My own struggle, my own family history, you know, coming from Armenia, not having anything, struggling to make it from an associate to an assistant to casting, to being yelled at, to being appreciated, to never being seen, to never been, you know, asked your opinion, you know, everything goes into this. And at the same time, I produce too, so everything that goes into this. I want to say something. If I ever to write my book, to finish it, it's going to be something of this sort, immigrant female accent.
Wow.
I made it. Why can't you? I completely believe in every single one of you guys.
Yeah.
Immigrant accent
Female.
females.
Females.
I
That's
made
you.
it. You know, so a lot of strength to all the artists, all the actors, all the phenomenal directors who haven't directed their first big films yet.
Yeah.
All the phenomenal painters,
Yeah.
you know, who haven't sold their pieces yet.
Yeah.
All the musicians who sit there in their little studio apartments making incredible music, you know.
Yeah.
Guys, time is on your side only if you believe in yourself.
Yeah.
If you believe in yourself and open all those chakras, you know, to the universe will start working for you. Whoever said we are going to have a beautiful life with zero problems? No, the whole point
Right.
of being an artist is to have a crazy life.
Yeah.
I mean, we have way more downs than ups, right?
Correct.
But it's to keep on fighting, to keep on showing the universe who the boss is.
Yeah.
And in your universe, you're the boss.
Oh my
Oh my
God!
gosh. I wanna give you a standing
Well, I know. I
ovation
feel
for
like
that.
I feel
Let's
like
give
this
a
is like an
cheers
Oscar moment.
instead.
Cheers
Let's do a
instead.
little
Yes.
Clinkety clink.
Clinkety clink.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Here's to you
I
guys, artists,
thank you.
artists,
Thank
for like
you.
making a difference.
Thank you so much. We I feel like my hair was raising when I was listening to you talk, and emotional in my heart, and a little bit like eyes welling up. And the reason is, artists that I know face more rejection than yeses. They hear the no word a lot more, but we're here to celebrate the moments that that worked up to the yeses, or worked up to the semi-yes that they converted into a yes of some sort, right? But it's those moments when you hear the rejection that you have to take a breather, take a moment, right? But remember that you're here, you have come this far, and that perseverance is going to lead you to that next step. And you never know what is around the corner.
Absolutely.
And if this is your destiny, if you made this decision that you're an artist, that's what you need to be mindful of.
Absolutely.
In our show, we often talk about preservation. We also talk about how important it is to take care of oneself. So in that journey, what is your biggest advice to your artists that you work with as they are working through the process, as they're working through the steps towards getting a yes? How do they maintain their energy for these chakras to be positively, energized and motivated?
I want to simplify it. I don't even want to make it too like poetic or artistic, you know. I want to simplify it. Guys, start off just by waking up in the morning, thanking whatever heavens you believe in, you know, or if you don't believe in whatever, just thanking the universe for seeing the light. Yeah. If we take a second and we understand, oh my God, this is a gift given to us. Okay, let's check. We can see, we can hear, we can touch, we can feel. Yeah. Great. Bingo. We got that out of the way. appreciate this. Start your day with appreciation, and then take care of your body.
Yeah.
The next step is taking care of your body. And I don't want to get into like diet plans, this and that, but take care of yourself. Water is life. Put more water in your body. Yeah. It gives you positive energy. Put more water in your body. After this, listen to something, whether it's a podcast of your choice or preferably this,
Listen to our
Listen to
podcast.
only one podcast.
or some beautiful music, or I like to start my day with classical music. That's just me, because it just boosts your brain cells. But it can be rap, it can be jazz, it can be whatever, little things that you do for your soul. Read something. Even if you don't read an entire book, read a page or two. Allow yourself to be going towards a different story. Indulge yourself in a different story. And pick up the phone. Call people. Don't text. Call people. Hear the voice of your mother or your sister or your grandmother or your best friend. Hear their voice. Surround yourself by positive energy. People who love you and care for you. This is my take on it.
Oh my God.
Well, it makes so
I'm
much
moved.
sense, right? It's such a nitty-gritty, sometimes nasty industry, production, and all the rejection to face, that having your family, those you love, hearing their voice and being positive, it's a lifesaver.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think you guys are forgetting we're also with this little pops.
Yes,
Oh
if you're
my
watching
God.
us on Instagram or
Honey and
TikTok,
Coco.
we have here Miss Coco, Miss Honey, my two puppies. They are joining us on the podcast if you're watching us on social media. Kavita,
They
speaking
are
of-
they are now going to be joining the hosting crew of Lights Camera
Yes.
Convo by
Taking
Chaya,
over.
Kavita, Coco and Honey.
Yes, and Kavita, where can they find us on TikTok and Instagram?
We're on all socials: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at Lights Camera Conversation.
That's right, at Lights Camera Conversation. Give us a follow. We'll follow you back. And let us know what you think of the content from this week. If you love what Ani's sharing, and also find out who the guest next week will be.
Yes, absolutely. And please engage with us in the comment section, and we would love to converse.
Yes, so let's keep going, Ani. We do have a game coming up shortly. Let's just kick off this section before the game with trivia.
Okay.
And then
I
we'll
love
go to the
games.
game. And I do want to also talk about how we met. So lots to cover still. So you love games.
But you tell us how we met. You're good at that.
We'll do that. We'll get to
Yeah.
that. Let's play this trivia,
Yeah.
and then we'll dive in together.
Great.
So I'm going to give you a question since you love games. Ready? Today's trivia, Ani. Who is the South Asian actor known for his role in The Big Bang Theory and Silicon Valley? Is it A, Kumail Nanjiani? Did I say it right?
Kumail Nanjiani,
B,
Kunal Nair,
C,
Aziz Ansari,
or D?
Riz Ahmed.
Yes.
Great actor, B.
B.
Yeah.
It's Kunal.
Kunal,
Yeah.
yes.
Kunal, yes,
Really,
that
really good
is
actor.
the actor on Big Bang in Silicon Valley. And of course, Ani, you knew that answer. I will say this, Ani, as a casting director, for me, knowing you all these years, what I think is one of your greatest strengths is your ability to remember faces. I mean, that is part of the job, but it's really uncanny how you remember faces and you can create a list of names. How do you
But
even
that's what
remember
you're
all that?
supposed to do.
How do you
I mean,
do it?
you're an actor. You're not like an actor's doctor. That's your job. You just remember faces. But for me, it's so important to also have a connection with the actors. So whenever I meet actors, I try not to think of them as just an actor, but a human being,
Yes.
and I connect with them on a human
Personal
level,
level?
personal level. So then they become a character in my brain.
Well, and that's kind of what happened with us. A great way for us to transition. I became a character in Ani's brain a
Life.
long time ago. It was the year 2011.
a very good character.
I'm like an old man. It was back in 2011.
With his two pups.
With my two pups. So it was 2011. I was finishing my senior year at my college, where I received my BFA from Virginia Commonwealth University. And our school had an acting showcase where they bring you to Los Angeles to perform for agents and managers. And you also get to participate in classes that are taught by industry professionals, and Ani was teaching an acting class. And Ani, I will never forget that acting class. You gave us cold sides to do. Can you tell our listeners what cold sides are who might not know what that term is?
Yeah, you're not familiar with the script. You're not familiar with the journey of the script, and casting director gives you sides from a show or a film, and you have like 10 or 15 minutes to prep it and come in and do it. And so this is where Stanislavski comes in. Who am I?
Yes.
Where am I? What do I want?
Yes, Stanislavski is an acting, philosopher, teacher, method. Yes, and
He's God to acting.
that's what we pull from. Of course, there's also Uta Hagen, there's Chekhov.
But they all come from the
They all
Stanislavski
come-
world.
And I know you're
Yeah.
a big Chekhov girl, Ani,
Yes,
right?
but Uda and Strasbourg and all
Strasbourg,
these
yes.
guys, they come from the Stanislavski world.
Of course,
Okay,
of
yeah.
course.
That's the method.
So
acting.
that's yes,
philosophy.
and that's 101 for acting. And so at that time, I had just finished my studies, and I had come in and done a class with Ani, and you gave me actually really nice feedback. I don't remember the feedback specifically because it was years ago, but what I do remember, and this is what did stand out, is how friendly you were, how kind you were. I was so nervous, and I still get nervous at auditions. I think that's natural. And what's exciting, something I learned is nervousness is actually the same chemical makeup as excitement. It's just a matter of how you channel it with your brain
How you
receptors.
control it, absolutely, because nerves are a natural thing that you should have, and it's a little abnormal if you have no nerves going on. So it's all about the way you. I almost say it this way, like you become friends with your nerves instead of an enemy with your nerves. So you put your nerve in your back pocket, like, hey, my love, let's go. We're gonna do this, instead of like, oh my God, you're bothering me. I'm not gonna do this.
Right.
Yeah. So it's all about the way you see it. And I do remember my feedback. One of them was
Okay, tell
you
me.
have fantastic energy.
Oh,
and,
boom,
and your
baby.
charm captures everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Ani.
Yes. And I still believe that.
Thank you, Ani. And I've
That's
grown
true.
so much being able to be mentored by you. I mean, we've become friends since because we have a lot in common. We have similar values. We have similar cultures. Being Armenian, you, and Lebanese, myself, and Kavita, your South Asian culture. Indian is just so similar too, and living in Dubai and Saudi. Like, there really are these common grounds that bring us together. But I did not know that meeting you, Ani, in that class. I didn't assume we'd be here today, but I felt it.
Ah, there you go.
I felt
there
it.
You
I
go.
felt it
You
in
felt
your
a
energy.
connection.
And I think that's what actors. So at my studio gang, Kavita, Ani's taught Laura, your youngest daughter, when your youngest daughter participated in the performing arts camps programs that I run for kids.
Yep.
So I run similar classes
And
now,
that's
and
how-
every single participant loves Ani. I'm not just saying
Yeah.
that to
Oh,
your
you
face, Ani.
guys, stop,
It's
stop,
because
stop.
And that's how I
Stop,
remember
stop.
well,
Ani,
it's because
the
you're so
first time.
friendly.
Stop.
You're rooting for us.
It's
You are
again,
rooting for us.
it's what do I want to be remembered as? A good writer, a good producer, a good a casting director. No, a good human being.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, and in your role, I feel like it's lending itself for you to be mentoring so many people because they're going through this like life-changing week, right? With that audition, the acceptance, the rejection, the nerves, how they're putting themselves. And you talked about the personal connection. I feel like that's something, being an artist, you're putting yourself, you, the human being, are
Vulnerable.
the product, right?
Yes.
So you,
Absolutely.
it's not like a business where you're dealing with a product or a tangible thing. This is people, their emotions, their feelings. When you build that personal relationship, makes you like this more approachable, a special mentor for them.
Yeah, and we're all human with a lot of problems, I mean, this is a woman talking from like, again, I'll go back to immigrant female accent, and then all of a sudden you're being given a chance to work in the same room with Emmy Award winning Kira Sedgwick,
Yeah.
Oscar winning, J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
You get to create stories with these phenomenal, names in the industry where like you can only learn from. I get to, we wanted to produce and then the project stopped, like you go to a meeting with Al Pacino, like
Yeah.
it's
Al
it's
Pacino,
yeah,
tell us
like-
really quickly
like-
in 10 seconds about Al Pacino.
He's an incredible actor who I love, and he's a very talented good man, and
Just as kind in person.
And I will stop right there.
Oh my gosh! Well, I'm glad you are.
And we both love Chekhov, and his son's name is Anton Chekhov because of Chekhov.
Oh, wow.
We're going to talk more about all your loves, your passions. I want to dive into the game of this or that because we didn't have... We're going to play a game now, straight to it, before we lose the time because it's so much fun and it's a great way for our listeners to get to know you in a rapid-fire questionnaire. Ani, we've played this game before. It's this or that, and I want you to answer as many as you can in 30 seconds.
Let's go.
Okay. Kavita, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ani, you ready? All right. This or that with Ani Avetyan begins now. Film or TV?
Film.
Classical music or jazz?
Classical.
Rom-com or action?
Rom-com.
Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Documentary or biopic?
Biopic.
New actors or familiar faces?
New actors.
Picnic in the park or picnic on the beach?
Picnic in the park.
Golden Globes or Oscars?
Oscars.
Yoga or Pilates?
Yoga.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Biking or jogging?
Jogging.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
An awesome round, Ani. We got to know you a bit. We're going to dive into one more right away. We're going to go twice as fast, Kavita. Can you do it with me, sis?
Oh my! You ask me this every time.
Yes. So it's just fun. You know, we want to really get to
I have
know
some
Ani.
wine in my system.
Yes.
Give her a break.
Okay, so we're going to start, Ani, round 2 of getting to know Ani Avetyan in 3, 2, 1. Adventure or relaxation?
Relaxation.
New York or Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
Dancing or singing?
Dancing.
Tattoo or piercing?
Piercing.
Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Poetry or short stories?
Poetry.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Stand-up comedy or improv?
Improv.
Podcasts or audiobooks?
Podcasts.
Roller coasters or Ferris wheels?
Ferris wheels.
Sneakers or heels?
Heels.
Fictional characters or historical figures?
Historical figures.
Historical figures. That was time. Thanks, Ani, for playing this or that with us. It's one of our favorite games and a great way
love it.
to get to know our guests quickly.
love it.
Ani, we are getting towards the end of our episode. What are some, words of encouragement that you would give aspiring artists trying to launch their career, especially those that might not be in Los Angeles?
Guys, wake up every day, have a plan for yourselves. Yeah. Make sure you create as much as you can. If you're away from Los Angeles or in Los Angeles, and if you're not getting those perfect auditions yet, those series regular auditions, those big movie auditions, you create your own stuff. You continue writing, you continue submitting yourself, you continue, going for that theater auditions, anything and everything. J.K. Simmons told me once, there is no small acting, there are no small roles. Yeah, so he does everything, and you could see he has an Oscar.
Absolutely.
And so the greats say this. So continue working a little bit like your own manager for yourself. Yeah, be your own manager. Work for yourself, and the more you do, the more results you're gonna get. And again, everything is like it goes back to a little bit like to mathematics. The more auditions you get, the more you book. So the more you submit, the more auditions you get. The more auditions you get, the more you book. And that's the technical side of it.
Yeah.
The artistic and the poetic side of it is you don't give up.
Yeah.
I go
Yes.
back to this. You don't give up.
don't give
You
up.
believe in yourself.
Believe.
Yeah. You put all your efforts into that one basket where like it is full of love for yourself. You look at yourself and you see your wings and allow your wings to open up. I grew up luckily in a family, Armenian family, where like usually they're like, get married and have a child, right? But my family was so open-minded. My grandparents and my parents, I owe them everything because they allowed me to be the artist I am. They didn't chip my wings off, They're like, fly, go, believe, do. And so if you can wake up every single day and put a list of things that you have to do for your craft, Just the same way we take care of our body, we eat, correct? And we put gasoline in the car so we can drive. We got to take care of the soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feed
And
the
us
soul.
artists, we have to
Yes.
take care of the
Amen.
soul.
Feed the soul.
So continue doing stuff that is going to make you build your brick building up and up.
Yeah.
You guys, and nobody can walk for you. Always remember your strength is in your own knees. So stand up. Take your first step and start walking. That's the way you're going to change everything.
Thank you, Ani. I
Oh
mean,
my
that's
God,
incredible
Ani.
advice. We're
That
getting towards
took us to church.
we're getting towards the heavens here, and we could not be more grateful, Ani,
Yes,
for
Ani.
having you join us
I'm
today.
so inspired today.
I mean, just for me to be surrounded by two
Yes.
people I admire, look up to,
Yes,
adore, Kavita,
absolutely.
you, and Ani, you, both
Yep.
my sisters, and to talk about something we love is
Absolutely.
really a treat. So thank you
And,
both.
and let's
Thank
take
you,
a
guys.
second
Yes,
and
be so
manifest
grateful.
on the many beautiful things that are going to happen during your podcasts, yes?
Yes.
And with your fantastic, beautiful, talented daughters, and
Thank
with
you.
this amazing man who's a
Yes,
great
that
actor and a
inspires me
producer.
every single day, Walid.
So just
Love you
believe
both.
Yes.
and move forward.
Thank
That,
you.
That's
Yes.
all.
Thank
you
you,
so
Ani.
much. Thank you. You
Chaya.
moved us. I'm Kavita Raj.
And this is Ani Avetyan, and you're listening to Lights,
Camera Convo.
Convo.